Hi everybody! Today we're gonna make the classical game Flappy Bird. I don't think you need a deep explanation about it. You know, it's a game where you control a bird. You have to be flying, you control the bird in the vertical axis, and you have to make sure the bird doesn't touch the pipes. So you have to fly between the pipes. I'm gonna make a simple tutorial, but I will add the gravity effect I explained in a video that I made like months ago. But later, as usual, I will give you some ideas to improve your game. So if you're ready, let's get started. Well, let's get rid of the cat, and first of all I'm going to draw Flappy. Every sprite that we use in this game will be created by ourselves. So let's paint, but I'm gonna open a new tab and I'm gonna look for Flappy to have this picture as a reference. As you see, this is pixelized, but this one is gonna be made with vectors. So let's take this and let's begin. And look now, to edit these shapes, which are regular, I'm gonna use this tool, reshape. So for example, as you see, the eye has this shape. So by adding another dot here, I can reshape the eye. You can add as many as you need. The same with the mouth. Okay, so here we have Flappy, and now I'm going to duplicate it. I'm gonna select the wing and I'm gonna rotate it to create the effect of Flappy flying. Okay, so this is Flappy, and now let's go to the code. Let's begin with the easy part. When green flag clicked, forever. Next costume, because we have two costumes, and we're gonna wait like 0.2 or 3 seconds. And here we have it. Okay, now we're gonna make the code to control Flappy. So I'm gonna create a simultaneous program here running at the same time this one is running, and I'm gonna create a variable called y velocity, so the vertical velocity, the velocity in the vertical axis, which is a variable we will hide later. So as we explained in the other video, you know that when something is falling down, it's attracted by the power of the gravity. The velocity, the vertical velocity, is not constant. As it is falling, it increases its velocity. So this is what we're going to do here. At the beginning, we're gonna set y velocity to 0, but forever, we're gonna be changing y velocity by a negative number because it has to move down. So let's put negative 0.8. So well, I'm gonna click on green flag and you will see it doesn't move. It only changes this number. It changes it very quickly, but when we add the other programs, it won't change that quickly. So Flappy is going to be falling at y velocity speed. So we're going to change y by y velocity. So as you will see, that is the gravity effect, and as you see, the longer it is falling, the greater this velocity is. Obviously you can change the gravity power by decreasing this number because it's negative, okay, like writing -1 or -1.1. Well, that's something you have to adjust. How can I move Flappy up? I'm going to add this. And in this case I'm going to put key space pressed, but you can use any key, okay? If key space pressed, I'm going to set Y velocity to, let's say, 8. And as I said, later you can adjust this number. So look, as you see, when I press space, I can move Flappy up. Okay, and I'm going to add one more thing to finish off the Flappy program. I'm going to move this here because I want to put this here. I'm going to say that when Flappy is touching either the edge, either the top or bottom edge, or when touching a pipe, which is something I haven't created yet, but I will create it in a minute, we're going to we're going to broadcast the message game over. So if touching the edge or the pipe, if touching edge, and I'm going to leave this gap here for the pipe, we're going to broadcast game over. And here I can put that when I receive game over, which is a message Flappy has broadcasted, we're going to stop other scripts in Sprite. So this will stop and this will stop. Let's see, if touching the edge, it stops, okay? So that works very well, and at the beginning Flappy could start here. So let's put it, let's hide this variable, and Flappy is coded. Now let's start with a pipe. So let's paint, we need a green rectangle, and I'm gonna use a solid color. Let's take green. I'm gonna zoom out as much as possible, and I'm gonna make a pipe. Make it as long as possible, okay? So the pipe is gonna be here. And let's leave some space in the center, which is the space through which Flappy is going to pass. So maybe that's not enough. And now with these two selected, copy, paste, flip, vertical, and now I put it here, and well, maybe that could be enough. I'm gonna change Flappy's size, let's say 70. Okay, that could be good. Maybe I'm gonna leave a little bit more space. Okay, let's make sure this is aligned. Almost. Okay, important. As you see, this pipe is outside the space Scratch gives me to create my sprites. So if I change the size, I'm not gonna be able to put back 100 because 100 is too big. But we're like deceiving Scratch, okay? We are like trolling Scratch. So I'm not gonna move this size because this is great. If you wanna change the size of the pipe, I'm gonna call it pipe, do it in the costume, but do not change the size. And look, this is the advantage that I have, okay? It is not cut here if I move it up because it is very long. So the pipe can be here, the pipe can be here, and I always have all the vertical space covered. So once this is done, let's code, and when green flag clicked, the pipe is gonna start here, okay? So this position, X247, and it's gonna be hidden. It's gonna be hidden because what we are going to show is not the original sprite, but the clones that we're gonna be creating. So forever, we're gonna create clone of myself, and we're gonna wait for and this number is something you have to decide. I want you to wait for between 1.5 seconds and 2 seconds. But, well, this is something I want to do, but, I mean, you can leave 1 second and that's fine. How do I do between 1.5 and 2 seconds? I'm gonna pick random from 3 to 4, and I'm gonna divide this number into 2. So 3 divided into 2 is 1.5, and 4 divided into 2 is 2. So we're gonna be creating clones, and when I start as a clone, I'm going to place each pipe in a different vertical position, because I don't want all the pipes to be this high. I want some pipes here, some pipes here, some pipes here. So the highest it can be is this. So Y97. Let's say, yeah, Y97. So when I start as a clone, I'm gonna set Y to a random number. Okay, in games we need to use random numbers very often, so that they are not predictable. So the highest is gonna be 97, and the lowest, let's move it down, is gonna be -100. Okay, after creating the clones have to move to the left. So in motion, we're going to change X, the horizontal position, by a negative number. That negative number is something you have to decide. I'm gonna write -7. And as we usually do, we're gonna repeat this movement to the left until we are over here. So we're using control, repeat until. And we're gonna repeat this until I am here. Maybe you're thinking, what if you write, or if you put until touching the edge? That's not valid here, because at the beginning it is touching this edge, and also the top edge and the bottom edge. So that's not something I can use. So let's see what is the maximum on the left, and it is X -247. So we're gonna repeat this until its X position is lower than, and I'm gonna put -246, because lower than this number is this number. And after this, we're gonna delete this clone. Let's see if it works. Oh, I have missed one thing. If the original sprite is hidden, I have to show it. So I'm gonna show it right after setting the Y position. Okay, as you see now, I can touch the pipes, and that's not a problem. But it's easy to solve. If I put here touching pipe, now if I touch the pipe, oh, Flappy stops, but the pipes do not stop. So in the pipe, I'll put, when I receive game over, stop, not all, but stop other scripts in sprite and delete this clone. And now if I touch the pipe, end of the game. But if I'm skilled enough to go through the pipes, you see? Oops, I touched it. So, well, these are the basics of the game. Now we need to add more things, for example, a score. So let's go to variables, score, with right-click large readout. You can leave it this way. And obviously, at the beginning, we're gonna set score to 0. And we're going to add 1 point here before we delete this clone. So before deleting these clones, when the pipes are here, we're gonna change score by 1, and we can add a sound. Here in sounds, we're going to choose a sound. There's one called coin, which is very adequate for this. And we're going to start sound coin here. So, but as you see, there is a problem. I think that it should sound when we go through it, not when it disappears on the left side. So how can we start the sound and change score by 1 when Flappy passes through the pipe? Well, as you see, Flappy's X position is -1 to 3. So here in -1 to 3, we're going to start sound coin, but we're not going to delete the clone here. So let's duplicate this, let's get rid of it, we put it here, and now we're gonna make it continue until -246, I think, because well, let's try, because I don't remember if that was the number we had. Well, as you see, it sounds here, yes, and then it deletes the clone. Okay, so now let's put an end to the game. As we're broadcasting game over when touching the edge of the pipe, let's paint a game over message. And when green flag clicked, we hide it. And when I receive game over, let's create the typical effect, which is set size to 0, show, and now we're gonna repeat 20 times, change size by 5. And as 20 times 5 equals 100, we go back to the original size. And after this, we're gonna stop all. Although everything is stopped, because here in Flappy, we're stopping other scripts when game over is received, and the same here. But anyway, that's not bad. I'm also going to add a sound here in this sprite. So let's go to sounds, choose a sound, and I'm gonna take loose. Well, and we're gonna start that sound here. And let's try the game. Okay, it doesn't finish because of the stop all. So I'm gonna get rid of it because we don't need it. As I said, we're stopping all the programs in both sprites. I'm also going to add a backdrop, blue sky, and let's try the game. Okay, let's die. Okay, so this is the end of the tutorial, but now I'm gonna tell you some ideas that you can put into practice to improve your game. One idea could be in the pipes. This is the speed at which the pipes move, but this could be a variable that you make, which would be speed, for example. At the beginning, you set speed to -7, could be good, or maybe -5, but here you could put something like this. Before you delete the clone, you could put if score, so the points we've gotten. If score equals 10, for example, set speed to -9 or -10. So When you get 10 points, the speed increases. That's one idea. You could do that several times, and when score is 20, set speed to -12. And also you could put that when score is 30, broadcast victory. And then you create a sprite like this one, which has, when I receive victory, you can start a sound like the ta-da, or well, there are some sounds that you can use, and you make this animation if you feel like. Or you could even do it in costumes. You can create another costume, which is victory. In the case of game over, switch costume to game over, same program here, and when I receive victory, switch costume to victory and do something like this. So those are some ideas that you can put into practice if you feel like. If not, you can leave the game as it is because it's fun. As I usually tell you, send me the links to your projects because I love seeing what you do, and see you next time. Bye bye!